So the intention of going with a try block is, if you have any statements wherein which you are feeling that this particular statement is going to stop my process of program, that means it will stop working of my program, then you will be enclosing those statements in a try block. Right. Now, in a try block, there might be a possibility that you don't have any issues, right? You don't have any issue. You wrote a few statements and all those statements are working fine. No issues with respect to that. Correct. Now, if I have an empty try block, something like this, right? It is fine, right? According to the concept, whatever I said, it is fine. Yes, we are saying that I have a try block, but there is no problem with respect to try block, right? So there are, assume that there are a few statements and it is not giving you any issue also. Clear? So keep these things in mind. Let me just compile the program and cross check what might be the output. What it is saying. It is saying Java line number 5 error, try without catch, comma, finally, or resource declarations of a try, one error. That means what it is saying is, see, this is a compile time error, right? So when it is a compile time error, so what does it mean? That means there is a problem with respect to syntax, right? So problem with respect to syntax in the sense what? That means whenever you are writing a try block, then it is must and should, you need to write what is called as catch block. Even though if you are not catching anything, right? So it feels that whenever you are writing a try, you are expecting some error, so there should be catch block written, right? So if I don't write anything in a catch block, is it fine? No problem. So means, will it say like there should be some statements in a catch block, something like that? Will it say something like that? Let us just cross check. Compiled fine. No, it is not saying anything, right? So what does it mean? Whenever you are writing a try block, then there should be a catch block, and it is up to you whether you wanted to enclose a few statements into those particular try and a catch or not. Is that clear? Again, I'm telling you whatever I think I'm saying. So I am talking just with respect to the basics, right? Huh. What is the conclusion that we have got now? So whenever you are writing a try block, then there should be a catch block written, right? If you don't have a catch block written, if you are just writing a try block, then it will throw you an error saying that there should be at least a catch block or finally block. We have not yet discussed the final block, that we will discuss later. So for time being, you be sure that if you are writing a try, there should be a catch or a final. If you are not writing any of these two, then it will throw you error saying that this particular try is not having a suitable catch with it. Right? So any questions you can post in the chat box. Brahan, is there any difference between an error and an exception? Yes, there is a difference between error and exception. We will discuss that one once I start with the finally block. Sir, if only catch block taken, not a try, what will happen? Yes, very good observation, and these things you might have done after listening to yesterday's recording itself. That is the reason why I told you be clear with the recording whatever I shared yesterday, because that was the basic. Showing error. What error it is saying? Error, catch without try. Right? So that is the reason why I said like this particular try and a catch will be something like a couple, right? So if there is a try written, then there should be a catch written for that. Whether that particular catch is handling that particular try or not, that is a secondary, but there should be a catch written. If you don't have a question, then I will post one more question. Try. So both are dependent to each other. Yes, this is according to a syntax. That's what the syntax says is if you are writing a try, then there should be a catch block written. This is what the syntax is. Okay. Shall I ask the next question? Yes. Let me ask one more question. Int a is equal to new int of 5. Right? So now let me one second. System dot out dot println of a of 5.
नहीं किया वैसा.
It's okay, no problem. Yeah, array, right? Yes. Yeah. Now here let me write system dot out dot println catch. What will be output of this program? Any confusions? 5 and catch. Okay, so let me make it as a simple as I didn't got so many answers. I just wanted to do this. If I am writing this, then what will be the output? I didn't do anything. Just I wrote some values. That means declared one array, integer array. So and I am displaying a fifth value. So means index 5, whatever is the value that I am displaying, right? What is the problem? Is there any problem if I am saying a create array of a size 5, right? When I am saying a create array of a size 5, will I be having a indexes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4? Only these indexes will be there, right? Right. Now what I am trying is, am I trying to print the element at a fifth location which does not exist? Right? Now let me just run this particular program and let me just cross check what might be the output of this. Compiled fine. What error is it is showing? It is showing a exception, right? It is showing a exception in a thread main java.lang.array index out of bounds exception, right? So what it is saying is you are talking about an element which is out of bound, right? You are talking about element which is out of bound, correct? Now let me add those try catch statements for you. What was the previous statements? Try I was written, right? After a system.out.println, I have closed that. Now I am adding a catch with respect to arithmetic exception, right? Now what will be output? Will it go to a catch block? Yes. Okay, it will go to a catch block. It will print a catch for you. Alright. So this is the reason why I told you to go through the things properly. What kind of error it is showing here? With respect to this statement, what kind of error it is showing? Array index out of bounds exception. Okay. So what kind of exception you handled? You handled what is called as arithmetic exception. When an object thrown is the array index out of bound exception and the object caught is arithmetic exception, why it will go to the catch block? Exception raised. Whatever output you got previously, the same thing you got. You didn't handle the catch block. This is a problem if you don't revise the things which we have discussed in the previous class. That is the reason why I stressed in the last class also, whichever topics I have discussed in today's session, those things are very important to understand the further classes. In the last class, I clearly told you whichever error has been thrown, this was an error thrown by this particular statement, right? So you should have a suitable catch block written, right? If you have a suitable catch block written, then only it will go to that particular catch block. Okay, if you have not written a suitable catch block, how it will happen, how the things are going to work. You have said that you are creating object of arithmetic exception. That means this particular object is ready to accept arithmetic exception kind of object, not a array index out of bounds kind of exception object, right? So whichever suitable error has been thrown, if you are catching that particular kind of exception, then only the catch block will execute. Understood? At least now clear with the concept. So sir, how can we know that exception is there? At least after by writing a program, after executing once, you will come to know that this is an exception, right? At that time also you can handle. See, this is a possibility. Say for example, whenever I am writing a few instructions with respect to arrays, I can make sure that there might be a few issues with respect to array kind of stuff. Like when I am using a array concept, why I need to go with just arithmetic? Why can't I include both arithmetic along with array? So, sir, always should we write after error? It's not like that. It is up to our analysis. If you are so means if you already know this, that is what I'm saying. If when I am working with arrays, it will be a feasible if I am handling a array related exception, right? When I am writing a few instructions with respect to array, it will be a feasible to write a few exceptions related to array concept. One second, go through the example. If you have any doubts, you post those doubts in the chat box. 1 minute, I'll come back. Okay, I'm back. Can we write an exception alone in a catch block? Exception alone in a catch block. Yeah. That is a generalized. It means that is a parent exception. If you are specifying exception, just exception, means it will categorize all the different types of a runtime exception. Post questions to everyone. Sir, can we perform arithmetic or logical operations inside a catch block? Yes, you can perform anything. See, the catch block is just a block which it will be caught when a particular exception occurs. Within a catch block, if you want to write a few instructions, can be written, and those instructions will be executed only if there was a exception, which so means if a suitable exception has been caught, then only that particular catch block will be executed. If you are clear with the example, then I will introduce some more complexity. If you have any questions, you can post those questions. Shall we write a few more statements? Right. Now, suppose I have a variable int b which is equal to 2 divided by 0. What kind of exception it will create? Arithmetic exception, right? So this is what it will throw, correct? Now, after this particular statement, can I write another catch block Can we write something like this? This is a sort of some, I mean, all these modifications are for the better understanding, right? How many possible exceptions are there with respect to try block now? Two possible exceptions are there with respect to a try block. What are those possible exceptions? One is array index out of bound exception and another one is arithmetic exception, right? So now what will happen? What might be the expected output? Okay, so let me make things very simple. I'll just add a few options. Option A, is it valid to write two catch blocks for a one try block? Right? Option A, is it valid? Is it valid to add two catch blocks for a one try block? That is the first option, right? Answer should be either yes or no if you are choosing a first option. Second option, if it is valid, that means if giving a two catch blocks one for a one particular try block is a valid, will it execute both the catches or only one catch? Right? So this is your second option. If the first option was a true, will it execute both the catches or it will execute only catch which was occurred first? Okay. So no, so means I got answer in the chat box saying a no. No in the sense you cannot write a two catch blocks for a one particular try. Okay, so Shriyansh is saying
No, yes, you can write two catch blocks, but it handles one.
okay, we can write a two catch blocks and it will execute only one. Okay, okay. So Jagdish is saying a first catch. Atom is saying a no. Both yes. Okay, so both it will work. Yes, it is possible to write a two catch blocks. Okay, only one will be executed. Right. So now why I have why I have asked this particular question is once I show you a output, you should be in a position to draw few conclusions. Right? Okay. So let me just compile and check what will happen. Compiled fine. Which one it is executing? Whichever first error was got, right? So whichever was the first exception got, okay? So that particular exception will be caught. Whenever there is an exception caught, it will be checking for a suitable catch block, right? So it has caught this particular catch block. We have said in the last class, once a catch block has been caught, the control will never go back to the try block. So this particular int b is equal to 2/0 never executed itself, right? When it is never executed, obviously this catch block will not be caught. Clear? Now if I make this particular 5 as a 4, what might be the situation? In a place of 4, it is saying a 0 is there. As it is working fine, that means there is no problem with respect to these two particular statements. So there is a problem with arithmetic exception. So it is directly going for arithmetic exception. Clear with the flow of working? Understood the example? Right? If you are writing more than one catch block for a particular try block, this is called as multi-catch, right? So there is only one try block and you have written multiple catch blocks for that. Clear? Shall we see few points with respect to a multi-catch. Then we will proceed with a few more examples on multi-catch. Yes, beautiful. Right. Let us see few points with respect to a multi-catch. Then we will see few examples on that particular multi-catch. So, okay. More than one exception could be raised. I think this is visible. Right.
Yes, sir.
More than one exception could be raised by a single piece of code. To handle this type of a situation, you can specify two or more catch clauses, each catching a different type of exception. Right? When an exception is thrown, each catch statement is inspected in order, right? And the first one whose type matches that of the exception is executed, right? So in whichever order you have written exceptions, that so means in that particular order it will be starting to match your exceptions. Means if, say for example, if arithmetic exception has been raised, so you might have written some 10 catch blocks. It will go on checking each and every catch block whatever you have written until it reaches the match. If it founds a match, then a suitable catch block will be executed. If it didn't found a match, then so I mean JVM will be handling that particular exception. That means it will throw a message saying that exception this has been occurred at this particular line. Right? After one catch statement executes, the others are bypassed and execution continues after a try catch block. Right? So once it approaches, once it matches any of the catch block, so then execution will not proceed with the further catch blocks. Then after catch blocks, whatever you have written at the last, so those particular instructions will be executed. Right? When you use multiple catch statements, it is important to remember that exception subclasses must come before any of their superclasses. This we will see with an example. Now, if you have any questions with respect to 3 points, whatever I have displayed now, you can post those questions in a chat box. If you don't have any questions with respect to the first 3 points, then I need to discuss the examples with respect to the last point. No questions, right? Shall we see an example on this particular last point? Right. So let us read our last point once, then we will go with an example. When you use a multiple catch statements, that means assume that you have a more than one particular catch block written. Okay. So it is important to remember that exception subclasses, right? So remember that particular hierarchy, right? First you have an exception class, then you have a runtime exception classes, right? It is important to remember that exception subclasses must come before any of their superclasses. Right? So first the point is, if I am just writing exception, will it be okay now? Is this okay? Instead of writing a arithmetic exception, that means a specific class, I'm just writing some generalized statement like exception, generalized exception. Right? So now what happens? If there is a arithmetic index out of bound, this particular exception will be caught. If you don't have this particular array, means array index out of bound exception, arithmetic exception will be raised, right? So when arithmetic exception raised, it will be checking for arithmetic exception catch block specifically, right? If it didn't found any arithmetic exception catch block specifically, then it will go to this particular exception block. Right? 1 second. Let me make it as catch. I'm writing one more exception. Exception EX. System.out.println. This is from normal exception class. Right? So this error is with respect to array index out of bound catch. Right? Now, if I run my program, what is a possible exception raised? Arithmetic exception is the possible exception raised, right? So according to a statements, whatever we have seen, what it said, once there is a this particular exception raised, it will be checking for a catch blocks which handles these kind of a exception, right? So whether a first catch block is handling arithmetic exception, no. Whether a second block is means handling arithmetic exception, yes. So this particular arithmetic exception catch will be executed. Correct. Executed. Now, see for example, I have not written this particular arithmetic exception. Just I wrote generalized exception called as exception. Now, when arithmetic exception has been raised, it will check in a order. First, whichever is the exception, first it will check whether arithmetic exception is matching with array index out of bound exception. No. Which is the second exception? Direct exception class, right? So when it is an exception class, can it handle this particular arithmetic exception? Yes, it can handle that particular arithmetic exception. Let me just cross check, will it handle or not? Handling properly, no issues. Clear? Now there is a twist. Say for example, I have removed this exception here and I wrote exception here. Clear? And one more change here, I don't wanted to have a normal execution, I wanted to have an error with respect to arithmetic exception. So means array index out of bound exception. Now what will be a scenario? What kind of exception will be raised? Array index out of bound exception will be raised, right? When an array index out of bound exception raised, what it will do? It will check for catch block which will be having a array index out of bound exception handled in a order in a which you have written a catch blocks. That means it will go, whichever is the first catch block, it will go there, then it will go to a next catch block, then it will go to a further catch blocks, right? Here, when the array index out of bound exception raised, which is the first catch block, exception catch block, whether this particular exception catch block can handle this particular array index out of bound exception. This is a question, expecting an answer. What is my question is, array index out of bound exception has been raised, whether this particular catch block which is handling all the exceptions, can it handle that particular array index out of bound? Yes. When it is able to handle this particular, that means when this particular exception is able to handle all the types of your runtime exception, whether this particular catch block which you have written later, will it be caught anytime? Understood my question? When you have a parent class written, when there is a bigger exception which is ready to handle so many issues, whether a next catch block which is a specific class, will it work? Will it come to that particular point? No, right? When it won't execute, can I say that in this particular scenario, this particular catch block will never execute? Because whenever there is an issue with respect to array index out of bound, this exception is there, it will handle that particular scenario. This particular catch block will never come to existence itself, right? If you have this kind of scenario where parent is written first, then the child, what it is saying? Did I run the program and compile? Yes, compile, right? So during a compilation itself, it is saying that exception array index out of bound exception has already been caught, right? During compile time itself, it is showing you an error, correct? What it is saying is, whatever the exception you have written here, this kind of exception, this has been already caught by this particular person, and this catch will never be reached, right? So don't write a statements something like this. If you want to handle, means if you want to write the things specifically, then include a child classes or specific classes catch blocks first, then your parent catch blocks, right? Now if I compile my program, what will be answer? Your first catch block, so means your first catch block with respect to array index out of bound will be caught, and there will not be any issue with respect to parent exception catch block, right? So what is the conclusion? Means this particular exception catch, this particular exception class is the parent for all runtime exceptions. Make sure that this particular class has been written at the end. If you are writing this particular catch block in the starting itself, all those runtime exceptions will be caught by this particular exception. Whatever was the remaining catch blocks, those things will not get a chance to execute. Then that particular time you will be getting a compile time error saying that all these catch blocks have been caught earlier itself, right? So class specific exceptions need to be written first, then you need to write some generalized exception. Beautiful question asked by Dan. So, sir, if there is a general exception block, what is the use of other specific exception block? Right. Now, say for example, whenever there is a error occurs, say for example, if there is a arithmetic exception, what I will do is, when there is a arithmetic exception raised, I might be writing some catch block for that. I'll say that if there is a divide by 0, so means here I have some arithmetic exception, right? When this error occurs, when this arithmetic exception occurs, what I will do, I will make a value of a b is equal to 1 in a catch block, right? I wrote, let me write here, catch arithmetic exception x, right? So whenever there is a arithmetic exception caught, right, I will say that the value of a b, you take it as a 1, okay? And once this particular catch block has executed, right, after this particular catch blocks, after all these particular catch blocks, can I proceed with my work, right? After this particular catch blocks, I'll be having a value of a b as a 1 every time, right? Now, suppose that I didn't write this particular catch block. I didn't handle a arithmetic exception catch block explicitly. Instead of that, in a generalized exception, I wrote a b is equal to 1. In a generalized exception, you think that you don't have any specific exceptions itself now. When you don't have a specific exception, say for example, even this is also not there, right? If you don't have any specific exception written, now even for your array index out of bound exception also, this b value become 1. I don't want this to be happened. I want this to be happened only when arithmetic exception has been raised, right? So that is the intention of going with a specific kind of exception. If you are putting everything in a generalized exception, So for every error caught, that particular block will be executed. I don't want that one to be happened. Clear with a multi-catch. And whatever was the last point, what was the last point? Let me display you once again. The last point was, one second. When you use multiple catch statements, it is important to remember that exception subclasses must come before any of their superclasses. That means superclasses need to be written later and the exception specific classes should be written first. Now clear with all the 4 points? Any doubts with respect to any of the point? You have a few examples at this particular link whichever I have shared. So let us not waste much of a time. I will be copy pasting a few examples and you should be just telling me what will be an answer of that particular program, right? So we will see how fast you will post answers in this particular with respect to these particular examples. Got any question? Sir, is there any other super exception class rather than exception? With respect to all a runtime exception, your super class is a exception class only. Your exception class means that particular exception is a parent for all the exception classes, different specific exceptions. Okay. So as I said already, so I'll be copy pasting a few examples. Intention I don't wanted to write because it will take a longer time for writing all those examples. I'll just have copy paste a few code snippets. You just analyze and just tell me what will be output of that particular try catch blocks. Right. Question number 1. What will be output of this one? You should be enough fast. This is visible, right? What is the output of this particular code?
Array index bound 1.
Array index 1. Which is a first error which will be caught? Parent exception. How come? Which first you decide what will be a first error, whether it is a divide by 0 or assigning that particular value to an index which does not exist. Array index out of bound exception. Wow, second catch. Array index out of bound exception. Super. I am telling you, first decide what error will be raised first, whether it is a divide by 0 error will be raised first or assigning this particular divide by 0 to a of 5. What will be a first one? When assignment will happen, first it will evaluate the expression in the right hand side, then it will be assigned to a left hand side, right? When you are performing a divide by 0, then will be a arithmetic exception raised, right? So after this particular arithmetic exception has been caught, after end of all these catch blocks, you have something called as the rest of the code. Super. Let me just run in front of you and then let's just cross check what might be the output. Arithmetic exception occurs first, not array index out of bound. Who taught you Java? Any problem in this particular declaration? No problem, right? That is a valid way of declaring a particular array, saying that I wanted 5 elements in that particular array. Later what you are doing? You are performing a division by 0. After a division by 0, whatever answer you will get, that you are going to assign to an index of a 5. Correct? First error raised will be a 30 by 0. 30 by 0 is nothing but an arithmetic exception, right? So first arithmetic exception will be raised. Arithmetic exception has been caught. Once it has been caught, will it go back to perform an assignment? No. We said that one itself, right? Once there is an error or exception occurred, it will not go, it will go to a suitable catch block. It will not come back to your try block again. Clear? So arithmetic exception block will be executed. Whatever statements you have a later after all these catch blocks, so that particular statement will be executed. Understood the example, right? Shall we go with the next example? If you have any questions, you can post those questions in the chat box, no problem. If you don't have a question, then only we'll go with another question. Shall we go with the next example? Yes or no? Garima Jain, confusing sir. Why second catch is not printing, sir? Wow. Why will a second catch will print? See, I am telling you, how many number of instructions you have in a try block? You have a 2 instructions. Whether a first instruction is a valid, first instruction is a valid, right? Okay, let me explain you, then I'll answer your questions. Now, first instruction is a valid, no problem with respect to first instruction. What you have in a second instruction, you have a 2 operations to be done. Which will be done first? Whether assignment of a value will be done or evaluating expression will be done. Evaluating of an expression will be done, right? 30 by 0 is the evaluation to be done. Whatever answer you will get from this particular expression, that has to be assigned to a of 5, right? So initially there will be error with respect to this statement itself. 30 by 0 itself is a problem. Whenever there is an exception raised, right? So there will be object thrown. What kind of object thrown now? It will be arithmetic exception object will be thrown, right? Whenever there is a arithmetic exception raised, it will be checking for the catch block written for a arithmetic exception. Your control will not be in a try block itself now. It will be keep on checking for a whichever a catch block written for a arithmetic exception. Yes, it has executed arithmetic exception block. Yes, this was caught and this has been executed. Once this has been caught, are you stopping your program? Or are you going back to the try block? No. What you will be doing? Once the catch block has been caught, you will be performing further instructions, right? Whatever instructions you wrote after all a catch, that particular statement will be executed. That means your program will continue with a further task. Your program will not stop there. Don't forget the example which I have said in our first class. I told you, while going to the examination, if there is a rain, you will be catching that particular exception. Either you will book a cab or you will take out a raincoat, right? So once you caught that particular process, will you stop your process? Will you stop going for the examination? No. You caught the exception, you will continue with your journey. The rest of the statements after a catch block, those things will be executed. This is the reason why I told be clear with each and every class and each and every recording which I'll be sharing. Okay, so Bijay, sir, if we have only one exception mentioned, then exception EX will handle it, or we need a specific one. Okay, yeah. If you are just writing an exception EX, then it will handle all the kinds of exceptions. Clear with the example? Shall we proceed with one more example? We have to discuss, I think, 5 different examples. Until and unless we finish all those 5 examples, I'm not going to end the session. Right. Okay. So keep this confidence, and I will see our next example. 1 second. Let me copy paste those statements. If I am trying to write those statements, it will take a lot of time. That is the only reason why I'm copy pasting. Right. So do you feel any change with respect to this? What might be the output of this particular program now? I think this will be a simple one compared to previous example. I might have posted this one first, then that one. Okay. Expecting answer for this particular example now. Fast, fast, fast. Be fast. What will be the output of this particular program? You should not take this much time. So within a 15 seconds, you can post the answer. Yes, array index out of bound exception occurs. Okay, so what about the rest of a code? Will it execute? Will it print that statement also? Yes, second catch is correct. Okay, so second catch along with the rest of a code. Correct? So it will show your second catch block, then whatever statements you wrote after that particular catch block, that will be executed. Super answers. Right. Now let me copy paste one more example. 1 second. Is it the same one? No. But once you got the clarification with respect to first example, I think this is not that much difficult to answer. What will be the output now?
Arithmetic and rest of the code.
Arithmetic and the rest of the code. Right. So I think no need to execute this one in the cross check. Let it be. Let me just cross check and see. Yes, arithmetic and the rest of the code. Correct. One more example I have, I think. Let me just cross check. String s is equal to null system.out.println s dot length. That means you don't have a nothing in a string, right? So if you are trying to calculate the length of that particular string, which is not having anything in that. Okay, so in this situation, it will raise something called as a null pointer exception, right? So as I didn't explain that particular string part, I'm telling you, if this is a case, it will be throwing an exception which is called as null pointer exception. Okay, have you written any class specific exceptions? Not written. You didn't handle a null pointer exception. So what it will happen, it will execute your parent exception, right? So after executing a parent exception, whichever is the remaining statement, that particular statement will be executed, right? So okay, no need to cross check this particular part. Let me go with another example. If you answer this particular example, then it justifies all the points which I have discussed from the last 1 hour, right? What will be the answer of this particular program? Comment ask rest of the code. Tej Kiran is saying it will show error. Jagdish is saying it will show error. Okay. Error. Okay. This is the reason why I told you if you answer this particular question, then all our discussion will be a this means it is just like a conclusion for all our discussions, whatever we have said now, right? So we have a clearly specified one point saying that if you have a specific classes, those things need to be written first, right? So if there is any error occurred, so this is a place where error has been occurred, so what it will throw what is called as arithmetic exception, but that particular arithmetic exception will never be caught because everything has been caught by this particular exception only, right? So what it will say is this is not the way how you need to write a program, or all these arithmetic exception and array index out of bound exception were already been caught by this particular exception class, and what is the intention of writing these things later. This is what that is going to show you, and you will be getting a compile time error saying that arithmetic exception and all those exception has been caught already, has already been caught. Clear? In the starting of a class, Brahan has asked one question. Sir, what is the difference between error and exception? See, error is nothing but these things. It means the issues which you will be getting during the compilation process. All those things will be called as errors, right? So the issues which you will be getting during a runtime, all those things will be called as exceptions, right? So with respect to Java, you have a error class also, right? There is a class for errors also. So through that particular classes only, you are getting these particular statements, right? So there is an error class. From that particular error class, you are getting all these options, means all these answers, right? So compile time issues are nothing but errors, and the runtime issues are nothing but exceptions, right? And your JVM will clearly show you if that is the error, it will explicitly show you this is the error and what is that error. If you have an exception, in that case it will show you as an exception, and it will show you a description of that particular exception, right? Hope this particular multiple catch topic is clear with respect to all the points and all the examples also. Right? So again, I'm telling you, I'll be sharing this particular recording. So be clear with all the examples and be clear with all the conclusions, whatever we have discussed in today's class, because later we need to discuss what is called as nested try catch block. Nested try. That means you will be having a one try catch block within another try catch, right? So if you have any confusions at this particular point itself, then when we are discussing a nested try, that might be a more complicated for you, right? So be clear with your first class, that is an introduction of your exception handling, and this particular session, that is a discussion of a multiple catch, right? If you have any questions, you can post those questions in a WhatsApp for the clarification. In the next class, we will be starting a discussion with respect to nested try catch block.
Yes, sir. Can you see my screen, sir? This question.
Yes.
Right. Sir, in this question, I have this NPTEL question only. Expected output is this high, this class student and high class school, and my actual answer is high class school and high class student. How to that, sir? Reverse, I think, sir. We have to it should be first, it should be second, sir. But I cannot change this part. I cannot change the voting. If it was, then I can write the downside. It can write upside. Is this question alternate or there is another way to write that, sir?
See, what is the first output he is expecting?
Yeah, first input.
First output is hi, I am a class student.
Yes.
Okay, so where is that particular statement?
Yes. Because school is already printed, that I cannot change.
That means you need to call s1 dot print later.
Yeah, sir. How?
That means first you have to call your s dot print. That means these particular statements, whatever you have, printer s1 is equal to new printer.
Yes,
you
sir.
write these statements later. First you write a s dot print statements.
Okay, you have to write this operator in this S1 operator.
No. See, you are go to the output.
Yes, sir.
What output is saying? Output is saying like, first I am class student need to be printed.
Yes, sir.
Then I am a class school.
Yes.
Now how to print a hi I am a class student? By using s.print method, right?
Yes, yes.
I am saying like s dot like printer s is equal to new printer s dot print whatever are 20 and 21st lines are there, right? You
Yes.
write those statements first,
Okay.
then you write a s1 statements later.
So like this.
Yes. Now it will print a student first, then a school, right?
Okay. Okay, sir. No, I thought that I have to change in this only there. So,
No, no. See, once a method has been defined, it is up to you how you are calling those methods.
okay, sir. And this another
It is
question.
showing a wrong answer again.
No,
It
sir.
might be like a dot.
Okay, sir. I will manage that, sir.
Okay. Sure.
Oh, sir. This question also, sir. What will happen the execution of the fault code
What will
command line?
happen during the execution of the following code for the command line input? Okay, string yes colon args a yes plus okay yes plus args of 0. Whichever is the first argument. Okay, so consider input on a command line and select the options with the correct output, right? So input a jan java nptel.
And option B 1, 2, 3.
I think these two are the different inputs.
Yes.
A is equal to, so means A as this input and B as a 1, 2, 3. See, when you are writing a for loop means all your arguments, say for example, if you are choosing option A, Jan Java NPTEL, everything will be stored in that particular string array of a ARGS. Now, each and every element will be taken. That means initially Jan will be taken into a string yes, right? So it will be added with ARGS of 0. ARGS of 0 is nothing but again a Jan only. Okay, so Jan, I'll just, you send me a snapshot of this. I'll execute and
Okay,
check
sir.
you. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Aman, make me host.
Oh, sir. I don't know. Make it host. Wait,
Wherever my name is there, no, there you will get options for a
yeah,
more.
mark host. Okay, sir. Change
Ah.
that. Okay, sir.
Okay then. Thank you. Have a nice day. So if you have any questions, Aman, even you just post me that
Okay, sir.
particular question in chat. WhatsApp. I'll
Okay, sir.
cross check. Okay. Then.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay. Then I hope that will be feasible to end the session. So go through. I'll share you a recording. Go through the recording. Be clear with all the options. In the next class, we will be seeing what I said. Okay. Nested try. Right. So thanks for your time. Bye bye. Sir, I didn't get when we write a once again. Sir, I didn't get when we write a of a 5 and a of a 10, they will print specific things. Which question you are talking about?
Sir, I'm talking about the last code that we did
This was the last
executed.
code. This was the last code. One second. I have that particular.
Like a array of 5 or array of 10.
One second.
So it will print like.
These examples only I have copy pasted.
Yes.
Yes.
This.
Which one? This one.
So
what was the question?
output will be arithmetic exception, or I think it was array index out of bounds exceptions occurs. Like these things will execute
No,
in the out.
remember I told you, so whichever is the first exception, that will be checked for a catch block, right? So with respect to this example, the first error is a 30/0 itself is the first error,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it will go for a arithmetic exception.
Yes.
The rest of the code will not be in a execution mode itself, right? So it will go to this particular arithmetic exception block. Then after all the catch blocks, whatever you have written, that will be executed. Same thing has been put in output also. Don't get confused. That only I'm telling you. By looking at a one time, that will not be that much clarity. You will not get that much clarity. I'll share you a recording. Go through the recording. I'll share a PPT also. In a PPT, you will be having a link for this particular site also. You come to this particular site, cross check all the examples, then come to a conclusion.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sure. Any more questions?
Have a good day, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good day. Okay, then I think it's feasible to end the session. Thanks for your time. Have a nice day.